Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I am Matt. Hope you're all doing well. Today we are going to check out the Aether Single 18650 Squonk mod. This is a collaboration between Ultroner. We've seen other, stab wood types of mods from them. I believe that they were doing stuff with Osmosis as well. And anyway, they collaborated with Vapouround, which is a really popular magazine and website out of the UK. So let's go ahead and dive into it. This is what your packaging is going to look like. Inside, you are going to have this card that explains the Sevo chip that's inside. Sevo, potato. And there's a little diagram of the mod. And then you have this nice little velvet pouch, and out pops your squonker. So this mod's about 80 millimeters tall, kind of unique shape, right? Almost that rouleau-ish type of shape, or the triangle shape. But this does just take one single 18650, so it's more so for like the single coil RGA lovers, or people that use 50, 60 watts. It'll do up to 80, but when you max an 80 watt chip out at 80 watts, your battery life sucks. Really nice, pretty stab wood on here, and it's got a bit of a glossy finish. Says Aether right there, Vapouround's logo. I believe that's the Ultroner logo. Your screen and your controls are on the side here. Buttons feel nice. Micro USB charge port. There's your fire button, and if you could see right there, it's indented a bit for your finger to just go like that. It's very comfortable. Spring-loaded, silver-plated 510 pin. And now with this, in a separate package, you'll get this squonk assembly and an extra bottle. I believe they don't ship them together in the same box because of TPD regulations in the UK. So here's what those bottles look like. You got an extra one right here, and then you got one that's in this encasement here. In order to fill it, you just open it up like so, and you fill up right inside there. I believe these bottles are 7 ml capacity. So I'm gonna use some of this Baked Goods Berry Good cookies. Fill this bad boy up. Then we'll put the lid back on. Threads on that feel really nice. Now in order to install your bottle, you push it in like so, push it up, twist it over, and it locks into place. Very, very simple. Okay, as far as this cap material, I'm not sure what it is. It might be aluminum. It's got kind of that plasticky feel to it, but I don't think it's plastic. I think it's aluminum with like a plasticky coating or something like that over the top. It doesn't feel like zinc alloy though, but I could be wrong. On the base, it says Ultroner Vapouround. Right here is your battery compartment with this gold cap. You unscrew like so. Put your battery in and put this guy back on. Wait for the threads to catch. There we go. And basically, look at the screen here. And as you're tightening that up, wait for it to turn on. And then you push that down like so. Okay, so this chip is pretty simple, but I like it. It's just wattage, voltage, and basically a bypass mode only. Scrolls in 1 watt increments, all the way up to 80 watts, round robins to 5 watts. Shows your ohm load, your voltage, your battery meter, your wattage mode, and your puff counter. To change modes, it's the fire button and this up button. Voltage, mech, which is basically a bypass, back to wattage. To reset your puff counter, now it's reset. Super duper simple. Let's go ahead and put an RDA on here. This is the Skyfall. And now this RDA is 22 millimeters. As you can see, you have a lot of space on here. Let's put a 24 so you can check that out. Here is the profile. Still quite a bit of space. So at least a 26 would look good on this. So it'll definitely handle bigger RGAs, but because it's a single 18650, most people are probably going to be using the smaller ones. Addy sits down nice and flush on there. Let's give it a squonk. I like the feeling of this bottle. There's a good amount of tension. So you can really dial it in. Like, it's not too touchy. If you ever squonked with some and, you know, you barely press it and it splurts out liquid, with this one, you have to give it a little more force, which I like. Also, when you want to turn this off, 3 clicks. So it's 3 clicks instead of 5. Back on. Fire the left and right button. Power locked. And unfortunately, I didn't find any way to just lock the controls, but still be able to use the fire button. When you do the up and down, it's just a lock. It locks the whole thing, which is a little repetitive because you could just turn this thing off with 3 clicks anyway. So it would have been nice if you could just lock these buttons right here. And let me give you a closer look at the fire button press here. Just a slight click. Feels really nice and tight though. No rattle on this thing. And there's a look at it in my hand. It's comfortable for sure. You can fire it, you know, like with your knuckle when you're pressing this. Like that. As far as size comparisons go, here it is next to the Spade. This is a little bit taller, and they're just a different shape, but it's definitely a bigger mod than the Spade because it widens out back here. As far as build quality, gaps, anything like that, looks pretty good to me. The wood looks like it was finished well. All right, guys, so that is it for the up close. Let's go ahead, go up top, vape this, and talk about it a little more. All right, here's the Aether mod by Ultroner and Vapouround. I have it at 50 watts. Airflow's wide open on the Skyfall RGA 0.22. Let's vape it. Pretty simple little squonker, right? But they're going after that high-end flair. Ultroner has experience in the past with stab wood mods. They've done quite a few of them. I believe they did some with Asmodus as well. And Vapouround throws their hat in the ring and is now getting into hardware design. So let's talk pros and cons with this. Cons first. First off, as far as the chip goes, I don't mind that it's super simple. It's a wattage chip, wattage or voltage or mech mode, which is basically a bypass. 99% of the time, that's more than enough for me. But what I would have liked to have seen is to be able to lock these controls so you're not ever worried about changing your wattage or something accidentally, but still been able to fire it. I couldn't figure out any way to do that. There was nothing in the manual about how to do that. When you go to lock it, it locks everything, not just these controls. So that's a con for me. Another con is, while I love the way they did their bottle assembly, super easy to take in and out, just like a quarter turn, then you press in and it locks. The battery cap could have been like that also. I think we've seen other, what was it? Was it Vicious Ant on the Primo or something? They did something like that. Because right now it has a lot of threads, so it takes some extra time unscrewing and screwing it back in. Would have been awesome if this battery cap was just a quarter turn, locks, and super duper simple. Finally, just a little nitpicky con. I wish the fire button was just a little bit larger. It could have been just a tiny bit larger. It's still fine. You know, you could still fire it with your knuckle. But just for aesthetic reasons, it's just my personal taste. I would have liked the button to be a little bit larger. Okay, let's talk pros. First off, I think they did a really nice job with build quality and machining. You know, it's a cheaper mod when it comes to stab wood. It's still, I think, like 160 bucks or something. But if you look at stab wood mods out there, they can be very, very expensive, especially the small batch ones made in Europe or, you know, in the States or something. Ultroner is based out of China, so that's how they can do it a bit cheaper. But even then, stab wood is not a cheap material, so that's why these mods are more expensive. But like I said, the machining on this is really nice. No gaps or anything. The caps are installed well. I like the finish on it. I like the little logos in the back there. It's not too obnoxious or anything. I like the wood choice on this one. Very, very nice mod. Another pro for me is the ergonomics of this. This fits great in your hand. It's really made for like a pointer fire, you know, or like I said, you can use your knuckle on the button. You could thumb fire it too, but not nearly as comfortable that way. More so made to fit in your hand like that. And they did a good job. Very, very ergonomic mod. Also, it's pretty lightweight as well. Like I said, I think these caps are aluminum or something. I don't know. They just don't feel like zinc alloy or stainless steel. Definitely not stainless steel. And it's lighter than a lot of stab wood mods like this. It doesn't feel cheap by any means, but it is on the lighter side, which I like. Also, squonking, it's really nice. You could just use this finger to squonk if you want. You don't have to turn it around and use your thumb if you don't want to. Fits nicely in the hand. Really, really good layout. I like the design they used on this. Oh, one other thing to mention that's kind of a con for me is that they give you 2 bottles, right? But just 1 assembly. It would have been nice if they gave you 2 assemblies and maybe like a cap. You know, like Vicious Ant's done this as well. Other manufacturers have done this. Maybe a cap so you could fill up 1 extra bottle, take it to go with you, and then when your first bottle runs out, you can put the new one in. So it would have been cool to have an extra assembly with a cap. So all in all, for a mod being in that $160 range, stab wood, it's nice. I like it. I mean, obviously some of you that use temp control, definitely not going to be you. It's a pretty bare bones board, but it's worked well. Also, the battery life's been pretty damn good on this too, and I'm assuming maybe that's just because there's less stuff going on with the electronics or something. But, you know, if you like just normal wattage mode, you want a nice stab wood mod, and you don't want to spend like $300, $400, $500, it's definitely one worth taking a look at. Ultroner, I believe, sells this on their site. There might be some other UK sites or something that sell this too. So if you want to, you can check it out. No links in the description though, because of YouTube policies. Also, you're going to be able to pick out of a bunch of different colors. Let's go ahead and end it there. Folks, that about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching. Suck my mod.